In the heart of an old village, nestled between the forests and endless rivers, lived a girl named Nia. Nia was unlike other children in the village. She was quiet, observant, always watching the world around her with an intensity that unsettled even the elders. Her dark, piercing eyes carried the weight of something beyond her years, often disappearing into the tall grass and forests, where she claimed to hear voices carried by the wind. She saw things no one else could. Of the living, the other children whispered about her, but Nia paid no mind. She knew she was different. She just didn't know why. Late evening, the sun has dipped, leaving streaks of orange in the sky. So Nia walks alone, balancing a clay pot of water on her head. Songs rising and falling like a whisper of warning. Her mother had sent her to the river before nightfall, but she had lingered, watching fireflies dance over the water, tracing shapes in the sky with her fingers. She knew it was getting late now. The path home felt a lot different, darker and longer. A sudden gust of wind rattled the trees. She hesitated. A prickling sensation crept up her spine. She turned her head slowly, feeling something watching her. Then she saw it. Her breath got caught in her throat. The figure did not move. It did not blink. It only stared. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone. Nia rushes into the village, breathless and terrified, trying to tell the elders what she saw. The villagers, gathered around a fire, shake their heads and laugh. Some chuckled under their breath, while others simply continued their conversations as though she had spoken. Her mother's face tightened with embarrassment. She grabbed Nia's arm roughly. "You will not make a spectacle of yourself. You saw nothing, child. The night plays tricks on the mind. There are no ghosts here, only foolish fears." A boy near the fire snickered. "Maybe the spirits like you, Nia. Maybe they want to take you away." Laughter erupted around her. She turned to Kofi, her cousin, the only one who sometimes believed her. "Kofi, please," she whispered. "You have to believe me." Kofi shifted uncomfortably, looking around at the others. He wanted to defend her. Finally, he sighed. "You probably just imagined it, Nia," he said softly. The next morning, the village awoke to a terrible discovery. A fisherman, wandering in the river's sea, something floating near the riverbank, tangled in reeds. He yelled, and villagers said it was Kofi's lifeless body. His skin was pale, his lips parted as if he had tried to scream, his eyes wide, frozen in terror, stared at nothing. The villagers gathered, murmuring prayers and whispering amongst themselves. His mother wailed, throwing herself to the ground, her cries piercing the morning air. Elders shook their heads, muttering about curses and old spirits. But Nia stood still with her fists clenched, and her heart hammering in her chest. She knew the spirit had done this. She turned away from the crowd. Nia sat in the doorway of her hut, her arms wrapped around her knees. She understood. It had warned her. The villagers had begun to whisper about her. Some blamed her for Kofi's death, saying she had called the spirit upon them. Others avoided her altogether. Even her mother barely spoke to her now. She was very lonely.